Hello and welcome to the weekend edition. I'm Dr. Kingori. This episode couldn't have come at a better time. Our guest for this episode is a founding partner of one of the leading real estate companies in Kenya. His name is associated with several landmark properties in the country. He has been in the shelter business for more than 40 years. It's an honor to have him on the show. One David Lloyd Masika is in the house. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Asanteni sana. Before we get to that part of the show, it has been an eventful week. Nairobi Governor Mike Tyson has been in the headlines after this incident in Isili, where he once again touched the life of a young man and left an impact. Now, word is that the guy had stolen a phone and was running away when he was captured by the Mbuvi disciples and brought before Pontius Pilate. Ndipo Pilato akanawa mikono usoni mwake kana ishara kwamba ako tayari kupigana na ufisadi. I think hizi ndio watu wanasemanga, these are things that can only happen in a movie. Now, still on young people, 26-year-old Harambee Stars statue. Yes, he's 26. Joash Onyango got tongues wagging as some people felt that he looks way older than his declared age. But after much deliberations, Kenyans have concluded that if Joash Onyango is truly 26 years old, then basi picha yake ndio ingewekwa kwa hiyo noti mpya ya thao for symbolism. Ya vile thao moja hukaa pesa nyingi lakini real sense ni kidogo. Yes, and in Onyango's defense, haters have claimed that age is just a number since he's not the first Kenyan to exhibit these symptoms. There are people out there who also look older, but they are actually children. Yes. Hiyo ni ukweli. Nasikia wabebe. Okay, in other news, professional mourners have been put on the spot. They've been put on notice in Kisumu County for scaring away investors. As in, wanapiga kelele, wanasukuma sana, wanapiga nduru, so inaleta tension in the city. But before I get to the details of the story, for those who have no idea who professional mourners are, you need to see this first so that we are all on the same page.
Professional mourning is just talent like
Ningekuwa Mungu, ningekuwa Mungu ningekurudishia uhai.
Tunaelewana. Kama ni kupeleka nyinyi bila malio, bila kupiga nduru, hiyo ni pesa tofauti. Kama kupiga nduru, hiyo pia kuna pesa ambayo tunakupigia.
Si lazima ulie machozi itoke.
Unajua hakuna mwenye atakuja karibu na wewe akuangalia kama machozi inatoka.
Unaweza kulia kufanya sira pale, lakini kuna kulia ya kuserekea.
Niachwa nyuma kama vijana sana. Na hii ndio maana tumeamua at least tupate kazi yenye inakuwa rahisi. Hii kazi haina competition, juu haijarol sana. Serikali watusaidie, watupee permit na license, tukue recognized kama Professional Mourners Association ya Kenya, ambapo wapeleke hii mswada hata kwa bunge wa discuss, wajue tuko hapa na we are here to stay.
Amesema sio lazima ulie machozi itoke. You do realize what this means is that we could have people in Kisumu who cannot cry for free. Serious. I can only imagine what happens mtu kama huyo akigonga kucha kwa meza. Ile ka. Hiyo kitu ni uchungu bwana. We. Karibu nipiga duru. Karibu nitumie stock. Lakini by the kusema tu kweli kuna vile unaweza gonga kidole ushindwe kukausha hata kama wewe ni mliaji wa kulipwa. Hiyo kidole yako ndogo na hii yenye jirani yake ikikutana na meza mguu moja ile ya chuma. That feeling. If you know, you know. Your feeling ya kukutanisha katikati. Now, according to the new rules za Kisumu County, when you get caught crying, you get charged a 2,000 bob fine on the spot. So basically, serikali imepea Wakenya sababu nyingi sana za kulia mpaka wakisikia unalia bure. Ati unalia bila feelings. Wanakupea sababu nyingine ya kulia sasa ya ukweli. Unajua 2,000 ni nini kwa mtu wa kulia? Kulia umesikia wanasema ni so 8. Pro bono. Si pro bono, hiyo ya inaitwaje? Advance, hiyo ya kidogo distance ya kusindikiza mtu anaenda. As for the implementations, there are areas in Kisumu that have been marked as no mourning zones. But how do you identify a professional mourner? You need patience. Ukipata mahali watu wanalia, hautakosa hata mtu mmoja atawauza. Oyo Nyango umeenda na niko na deni yako nilikuwa nikupe Tuesday. Nyango umeenda. Buda isikue mtu ameenda na simu yangu hapa. Mko na bahati sana, ningepiga mtu hapa niwaongeze matanga. That said, let's hear what our reporter Kinyanjui has prepared for us tonight.
Wahega walinena na kusema ikibaba sana wapi duru wewe. Hiyo ndio duru ya kuaminika. This screaming forum went down in the Degwa, Kiambu County this week, ambapo kulikuwa na hafla ya kung'ang'ania the first love of a private developer ama ukipenda shaba in Raymond's language between a church and a local family. Duru za guesswork zimetuarifu kwamba the church leased half of the piece of land for 10 years, lakini kwa muda wamekuwa wakisoga mpaka sasa they are just a stone throw away. Due to the language barrier, guesswork has hired a bitterness sign language interpreter to describe the true feelings of one of the witnesses who is also a member of the family and the star of the drama series. Also, our Department of Jumping into Conclusions noted this mkokoteni in the compound and left us with pertinent questions like, enyewe, hiyo kanisa inawabebaje? Ikibamba sana, wapi duru wewe? This is still a developing story. Oh, sorry. It's a development story. So no upcoming updates. Representing the guesswork fraternity on the weekend edition, it is the one and only, the ever smiling, the individual whose picture needs to be on the new Kenyan currency to justify ugumu wa kuonekana. Who else but the one and only Kenya?
Now, the focus of our show tonight is one of the basic needs of every human being, shelter. And depending on where you live, the definition of a home or a house varies. Watu wanaishi mahali kuna maji, kuna miti, kuna parking, compound, na tumaua usually, kuna gate, na kesi ni zile za umbo yako ilipigia jirani kelele. Usually you talk about, this is where I live. Kama unaishi mahali, lazima utoke town by saa 3, la sivyo, mahali utashuka, lazima usindikizwe na Masai. Ama gari kungoje mpaka uingie. You usually talk about, hii ndio mtaa. Kama unaishi mahali kuna kanisa mingi kuliko maduka, mtu akikutembelea unajipata unampea directions na masufuria za githeri. Ukitoka kwa nyumba saa 5 mchana lazima ukutane na mtu wa mare. You usually talk about, sasa hapa ndio mimi ujificha. Bottom line is, lazima kila mtu alale mahali. And there's a very active conversation about affordable housing in the country right now. There's also some form of pressure among Kenyans to own homes. Sadly, this has seen very many people fall prey to unrealistic projects where they end up losing sometimes billions of cash, sorry. And by the way, what is an off-plan house? What is an off-plan house? I was speaking to a cab driver recently about owning an apartment in Kileleshwa. Tulikuwa tumeona tu billboard. And she was like, mimi siwezi nunua apartment 13 million. 13 million, nyumba yenye nikitoka sio kwangu. ati niweke 13 million kwa hewa. Kama niko na 13 million ya kuharibu, si afadhali nipatie Ben Githai asiibe wimbo ya campaign tena. Yes. Now, on the other hand, someone else somewhere feels like 13 million for an apartment is too good to be true. And as we speak, kuna watu sahi pesa yao ni kama imeenda na maji because of investing in real estate wrongly. Recently, the government was on the spot over its proposal to deduct a 1.5% levy from unemployed Kenyans to finance its affordable housing project as part of the Big Four agenda. Alafu ikakuwa watu kupata nyumba ni kama kuwekelea bet. Cheza pata potea. But what does it take to be a homeowner in Kenya? Who better to answer our questions than a veteran in this field for over 40 years? You probably want to own a home someday. Maybe you are in the process. Should you buy or should you rent? Mortgage or house allowance? Join us on the other end of this break with our guest for tonight, one, David Lloyd Masika. See you guys on the other end of this break.
Rahisi na haraka kuitayarisha kwa dakika 3 pata mlo mtamu. Chicken flavor, beef flavor utapenda. Ni rahisi kutayarisha kwa dakika 3 tu. Tamu sana. Indomie, furahia na jamii yako. Indomie, okoa dakika masaa yako. Indomie.
Welcome back to the Weekend Edition. I'm Dr. Kingori. Like I said, we have a great show lined up for you. Kama kawaida, mnajua si ucheza kama sisi hatu wangu shangi. Leo tunaongelea story ina affect everybody. Story ya nyumba. Kwa sababu mali uko, either you're in a house, you plan to own a house. And leo, like we said, I believe we have a responsibility ya kuinspire na kuchangamusha in the process. So our guest for tonight is a veteran kwa hiyo area ya real estate. Lloyd Masika. David Lloyd Masika, ladies and gentlemen. Karibu.
Thank you.
Ya wazito. Karibu sana kwa show yetu. Just to get started, ya kwanza, pressure ya kuown nyumba. I think I'll go straight. Before we get to your other interesting stories kama 13 sisters. Owning a house. Watu wamepoteza pesa mingi sana. As we speak, people kuna watu wanasema pesa yao imekwama since 2013 because they purchased off-plan apartments. How do you go about getting an off-plan house?
Asante sana kwa kuniruhusu. Na tena niwashukuru to join us here. On the issue that you raised of the off-plan.
Yes.
Let me tell you, I have always been very suspicious of off-plan. Many times, our people do not understand plans.
Okay.
When we sell properties, it is very important that before you can even start talking about something, you get the family to go. The wife understands her kitchen and maybe the living room. You actually see it. They don't understand it on the plan. So when you buy an off-plan, to some extent, you may find the whole family really don't know what's going to be the end product.
Value as in basic mind. Yeah, a person like me is probably, when you say you are property valuer, unaangalia unasema hii inaweza kuwa pesa ngapi ama
unaweza, lakini maybe let me explain in a more easier way.
Yes.
Kwa wale tunatoka reserve, hata kama mzee, baba, mama anataka kuuza kitu, anakwenda anamuuliza mwingine, umeuza kuku wewe ama umeuza buzi?
Yes.
Kitu namna hiyo. Ndio sasa yeye mwenyewe akienda kule anajua vile mbuzi zinauzwa, si ndio?
Kwa hivyo ni kuuza na
so comparison is just one way of doing things. Is one way. So if you, to bring it to the context of Nairobi,
yes,
if you want to buy a house,
yes,
you also ask, si ndio? Unauliza huyu umenunua nyumba, hii nyumba ni ya kununua ama ni ya kukondisha? Kama ni kununua, ulinunua bei gani? Pesa ulipata wapi? Na kwa nini ukanunua bei hii na si hii? Kwa hivyo you do your own investigation. Kwa wale wanataka kununua nyumba, vile nimeona kwa hiyo miaka yote nimeshafanya hii kazi.
Yes.
Kwanza ni wewe mwenyewe na your girlfriend or your wife mkubali mtanunua nyumba, na mkishafanya namna hiyo na mko na budget ya kiasi hiki, then mnaanza kufikiria ni wapi, kwa sababu iko mambo mengi mnataka kusikiliza, consider things like watoto wanaenda shule wapi. Yes. Kama mko Buruburu mnataka nyumba upande ule kwa sababu shule ziko upande ule. Kama mnatarajia kuhamia upande mwingine mnatafuta nyumba upande ule. Tena mnaangalia ile budget mko nayo na mnauliza, sio tu kwenda na mtu anawaambia niko na nyumba.
The rate of competition kama sisi sasa yenye tuko nayo as the so-called young people, because we have to compete with corruption and other issues. Do we have a chance of making it like you?
You can, definitely. I personally, when I came to Nairobi, I used to stay in Parklands with my uncle in the
Parklands?
Yes, in the servants' quarter. No. I haven't said where I was staying in Parklands. I was staying in a servants' quarter with my uncle, one room. And when his wife comes, I go and borrow the room somewhere else, accommodation somewhere else.
It was exile.
Yeah. Oh. So, yes. Until a friend of mine invited me to a small room in Isli. And I joined him in Isli phase 1.
Yes.
Where we had a tiny room where you could only push the bed inside, and actually we used to cook outside.
In our audience, we have people who have interest in real estate. They are starting. Mm-hmm. They are you in 1930. So
I was not there in 1930.
So they are you in the 60s. They want to start.
To operate as a real estate agent, you don't have to have a degree. You can be anything, so long as you are a person of good conduct.
Basically what you mean is you can be ringtone. The point...
My feeling is that if you really want to be an estate agent, one way of doing it is to try to find and work with an existing estate agent, which is basically what I did. When I left the university, I joined an existing agent, which took me through the process of selling properties. Those who may have that idea and they want to do something like this, yes, we can always talk after here.
Yes.
Normally, the ladies tend to be the best.
Yes, you mentioned that.
And I'm talking about the young girls, not the old ladies. Yes,
in real estate.
Yes.
What happened in between? What happens in between the young girls and the other ones?
I think it's a culture, really. At the university, they tend to be very good, sometimes even better than men.
Yes.
But when they come out, they are all right for some time until they start getting their boyfriends. Then now a problem starts arising. Because
they are not
our work
boyfriends.
is out. It's out of the office.
They are not called boyfriends nowadays.
What are they called?
Brian and Kevo.
What is that?
Those are bad. Those are bad news.
Those are bad news?
Yes.
No.
You have a very beautiful story, a near perfect story. There's something we have called Nairobi calling you for a meeting. Nairobi haijawahi kuita mkutano for the years that you've been in practice. As in, you left university, you had a job straight, you could save and stuff. There's nowhere you and Nairobi had a closed door meeting, life to teach you lessons.
Yes.
At when starting out.
Yes. My friend whom we were staying in Isli, when we finished, just to tell them, yes, when we finished, he got a job in Nakuru. And I had to mortgage my coat so that we...
Mortgage your coat?
Give it to somebody so that he gives us money so that he can go to Nakuru.
But at least you had a coat.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah.
I wish I tell you where the coat came from.
Kuna mtu aliumia mahali.
No.
Now, the people who talk about, as in, hii mambo ya ushago kama hauna nyumba, wewe si mtu. Hauwezi nunua gari kama hauna nyumba. Where do we draw the line in that? Ama ni priority?
It really depends on where you are coming in the country. because as I told people, different people have got different cultures.
That
Maybe let me say at this point that this pillar on housing of the government, I totally support it and I encourage it. Why? Because rather than spread laterally on the ground, we are moving upwards. The same piece of land that may be worth, say, 20 million shillings, you will find if you go up, you can provide maybe even 10, 20 times the number of flats that you could have just simply built on the floor itself. Yes. And I think this is going to be a huge benefit. There is something called the rent restriction. And those people have a tribunal. Now, if a property, and I'm talking about residential, if you put up a house and that house is let for less than 25,000 shillings, you are stuck because you cannot touch that rent again until it is approved by the tribunal.
So every rent that goes up has to be approved?
Yes, by the tribunal. Now the problem here is the tribunal was created to protect
the consumers,
the tenant.
Yes, tenant.
So it will hardly go up. This is, I think, one of the laws that I think the effect now is the opposite of what was intended. Because what it really means is everybody tries to build above 25,000 shillings. In other words, you find there are a lot of flats, a lot of development coming up, but nobody's building to let his flats for less than 25 because he doesn't want to get into that.
Would that explain what we call the real estate boom, where we have apartments, most houses are empty, so we are talking of an oversupply of houses?
I don't think we got an oversupply of houses, whether they be offices or houses.
Yes.
Let me maybe start with offices. You may find some empty offices, but if you look at it, you'll find the house or the block was built to accommodate tenants taking more than maybe 5,000 square feet or even more. So you find young people who are starting are not able to find accommodation there because the units are much bigger than what they want. Now, with the houses, it depends very much on the rent that you're asking. I mean, if you reduce the rent, obviously there are so many people looking for accommodation in Nairobi, they will take them up. So sometimes that is the problem when you ask for too much.
So we hopefully are going to see a reduction in rent.
Yes, you reduce the rent and you definitely get somebody to meet you somewhere.
Mmesikia wase? Makija zinakaa mtakuwa mnapata one bedroom kile na 3,500.
Yes. Yes, indeed.
Keep the hope alive.
Yes.
Keep the hope alive.
Yes.
Sindio?
Yeah.
Thank you, sir, for coming on our show. Asante sana.
Thank you very much.
Aya, wapi makofi yake? Asanteni sana. Thank you for joining us on the show tonight. We hope hata kama ulipata kitu moja ya wisdom of how to go about purchasing of property. That's all. Tunatakanga tu hata kama ni kitu moja we get on the show, that means. But for a man mwenye akona wealth of wisdom kama David Masika, I believe you've gotten something. That's it for the weekend edition. See you next week. My name is Dr. Kingori.